In the late 1800s, one of the biggest environmental and cultural changes on the prairies was something that happened quietly, but with massive consequences. The buffalo almost disappeared. Before that time, millions of buffalo, also called bison, roamed across the grasslands of what is now central Canada and the northern United States. For many Indigenous communities, especially the Plains First Nations and the Métis, the buffalo was at the center of life. It provided food, clothing, tools, shelter, and spiritual meaning. People followed the herds, used every part of the animal, and built traditions around them that had lasted for generations. But everything changed in just a few decades. As settlers moved west, buffalo populations began to drop. Some were hunted for sport. Others were killed by railway workers and travelers who were encouraged to remove the animals from train routes. In the United States, the American government supported the mass killing of buffalo to push Indigenous peoples off the land. And with new laws, new fences, and new farming practices spreading across the prairies, the vast grazing land the buffalo needed to survive began to disappear. By the 1880s, buffalo herds that once numbered in the millions had been reduced to just a few hundred animals. For Indigenous communities, this wasn't just a loss of food, it was a complete change to their way of life. With the buffalo gone, many families faced hunger, poverty, and pressure to move on to reserves or accept government aid. It created fear, frustration, and sadness. Communities that had once lived freely on the land now found their futures uncertain. And the impacts didn't stop there. When something that important disappears, it affects everything around it. Hunters lost work, traditions were interrupted, trade networks collapsed. People began to leave or were forced to change how they lived. The land itself changed too. Grasses grew taller in places where herds no longer roamed, and animal populations shifted. One change created a chain reaction. This is what geographers and historians call a ripple effect. One event, like the loss of the buffalo, can lead to many other changes, both direct and indirect. Some effects are easy to see. Others take time to understand, but they're all connected. So here's your challenge. You'll be creating an impact web to show the many different consequences of the decline of the buffalo population in the 1800s. Start by writing "Decline of the Buffalo" in the center of your page. Then, draw lines connecting it to different effects that came after. Some of these effects might be direct, like food shortages for plains communities or loss of traditional hunting practices. Others might be indirect, like pressure to sign treaties or shifts in the economy and land use. You should aim to include at least 6 effects in your web. Really try to reflect on how the loss of the buffalo would have affected various people and the environment. Use both words and pictures to show what happened. Try to include effects on people's lives, effects on culture and traditions, effects on the land or animals, effects on relationships between Indigenous peoples and the government. When your web is finished, write a short reflection explaining which impacts were the most serious and why, how the web helped you see the full picture of what happened. This activity will help you understand how one big environmental change can ripple through a whole society. And it will help you think like a historian, someone who looks not just at what happened, but why it mattered. Good luck, and let your web reveal the hidden threads of history.